There's a lot of things that we do in marketing and advertising, especially the marketing side, that can be what I often call very fluffy, and they're needed under all times, especially normal ones. But when you get down to the critical stages where businesses are just trying to keep their lights on, a lot of those things that you would do on a normal basis can take a very long time to really drive the kind of growth that you may need just to keep the lights on in your business. So you really have to lean into really understanding what is actually working, and that is also not being scared of doing some advertising. My name is Kenneth Kinney. You'll hear me often referred to as Shark. Shark is a nickname that I've had since I was a little kid. But I work in marketing and advertising field, primarily as a VP of marketing and digital strategy for AI Media Group, but I also work as a consultant and have done so for a good decade plus now, working as a professional speaker as well. I think probably the easiest way for me to describe this is I try to stay really focused on the tasks I have at hand. It's very easy for us to get distracted by so many other things. So I try to be a little more focused than even I normally would, just because of the world we're in. It's very easy to get distracted. But two, I think when you do have that downtime, it's really important to not stay too focused when you need time to relax, to really spend time with family or doing the hobbies or things that you enjoy doing. If you can develop any sort of self-discipline, especially now's the time to do it. And I think everybody struggles to really connect better now that we don't have face-to-face interaction. I mean, for me as a speaker, it's hard for that part of my business to really ever, be done in person unless we're doing a virtual event, just like we're doing today. That makes it a really interesting challenge to try to rethink how we're doing speaking today, because you don't get the same kind of interaction that you would, with seeing an audience smile or frown, or knowing how to, how they react can change your speech a great deal. Obviously, that affects a lot with travel. Another is really understanding how to take in social media. Social media, while it was always important, takes on either a more or a less level of importance, depending on how you look at social media today. I've learned to discount it a little bit and try to spend more time connecting with people than just looking at a platform and sharing and liking a lot of content and overabundance of content. There's a lot of things that we do in marketing and advertising, especially in the marketing side, that can be what I often call very fluffy, and they're needed under all times, especially normal ones. But when you get down to the critical stages where businesses are just trying to keep their lights on, a lot of those things that you would do on a normal basis can take a very long time to really drive the kind of growth that you may need just to keep the lights on in your business. So you really have to lean into really understanding what is actually working, and that is also not being scared of doing some advertising. When you see everything shut down the way it did, it would be hard to look at the data from June 2020 and compare that to June of 2019. Now, the same goes that the data we had last year isn't necessarily a good prognosticator of what's going to happen in June of 2021. So you've got to start looking at shorter periods of time to make judgments, as opposed to relying on historical data that I spend a lot of time on with customers, as well as looking at the data that's currently driving their growth, as opposed to what you thought was going to work year over year over year. We've all pivoted, but we're having to pivot in smarter ways than we necessarily thought we would have had to have done even 6 months ago. Thank you, viewers, for watching the Entrepreneurial Spirit by Designhill. This is an amazing group, and I've really had the pleasure of getting to speak with you today. I'm either at Kenneth Kinney or at A Shark's Perspective on all the social channels, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. But I'm primarily busiest on LinkedIn most of the time, and you can pull up my podcast on any of the hosting platforms.